Hello everybody, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys could join me for a new video. Guys, I've got a really fun window card to share with you today. Like that, I love having my sentiment kind of be peeking through that little window. Pop-a Petals is the stamp set that I chose to kind of dress it up a little bit. I'm excited to share how simple it is to create this little window card. Let's get started. I want to start by giving you all the measurements for the cardstock and designer paper you need for the card. I'm going to be using Night of Navy as my card base, and that is cut 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches. I have a piece of our Gingham Gala Designer Series paper in the Daffodil Delight, 4 by 5 1/4. I also have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. That's for the inside of the card. I have a piece of Whisper White for my flowers. It really is just some scrap, but I think I have this cut about 5 1/2 by maybe about 2 1/2. And then about 6 inches of our Night of Navy gingham ribbon. This kind of polishes it off and ties that navy in together. I'm going to be using 2 stamp sets today. I'm going to use Pop-a Petals to add the great color in those flowers. If you have another stamp set that you love, maybe it has a set of matching dies or something, that would be a great choice there. But I chose Pop-a Petals because I love using the matching punch. Now I needed a sentiment, and you notice Pop-a Petals does not have a sentiment, so I needed to find one. I found Oh Darling, You Are Fabulous from the Stitched All Around stamp set, and I thought that one was really nice. Again, use your favorite sentiment. As long as it fits inside that square, you're good to go. Now you notice here in my original, I chose to use the straight squares. But you know what? For today's video, let me just change it up. Let me go ahead and use the scallops, but I think I'm just going to use the scallop on the inside. And let's see what we get with that. Let me share with you which dies we're going to use. So this is the Layering Squares dies. And the first one I want to focus on is going to be the outside. So the one that's going to be on that gingham paper. And what we want to do is choose the second to largest straight square frame. Now for the scallop on the inside, I'm obviously going to need a smaller scallop, and I can just kind of layer these together, and let me tell you which one I used. So I've got my larger ones here, and then the next size down. So 1, 2, 3, it'll be number 4 from the largest, and that's going to be for our navy. So I want to go ahead and die cut from my Gingham Gala paper, that large circle, or I'm sorry, that large square frame. And we're going to go run that through the Big Shot. Again, we just want to center it up on 3 sides. There we go, cut number 1. Now let's work on the Night of Navy. And I want to very, very gently adhere this to my card front. I'm not ready for it to be on permanently. So I'm just going to add a couple of tiny little dots of snail. I'm going to de-stickify it a little bit because this is only a temporary hold. Because I'm going to be cutting from the inside, I don't want that frame to shift around. And I want to know I have it lined up, centered nicely. Remember, it's just a little dot. I now need to cut that scallop from the center. So I'm going to open up my card, and we're going to place that die right there inside. We'll want to center that up, and now we can run that through our die cutting machine. And there we go. Now we have that little scallop window. I think that's really sweet. I do love the straight one as well, but it was fun to change it up for the video. I want to take that 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White. We're going to add some adhesive here, and let's adhere this to the inside of the card. We actually need to adhere it before we stamp it because I'm going to use that window as a guide. So we'll close our card. I've got my Night of Navy ink pad. I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that navy, and my sentiment, Oh Darling, You Are Fabulous. We'll ink that up in our Night of Navy. We're going to stamp this right in the center of that square. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to bring in now a Berry Burst ink pad. I chose Berry Burst, but you guys know there are a lot of really great pinks and reds that you could use here. I'm going to take my Pop-a Petals flower, pick your favorite one, and we're going to stamp one down here at the bottom left. I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to stamp one here. We'll flip around again, stamp there, flip around one more time, and stamp there. We're ready to punch these flowers out. And for that, we're going to use the 4-petal punch. So let's come in. We're going to punch out all 4 of our flowers. And when we are done, do not throw away the excess cardstock. We're going to need that for our little tag. And for the tag, I'll just ink that up in the Berry Burst and we'll just stamp that down. Oh, I'm going to go about right here. So I have a little room on either side. Let me kind of trim away this excess. And you can come in with your paper cutter or you can just hand cut it. It's so small that you can see it. It's pretty simple to just cut. I want to cut off the end. And then this end here, my friend, let's just cut it into a little tag shape. Most of it won't show, so I'm not worried about perfection. I think that's going to work fine. And now it's time to put this card together. Remember, we gently adhered our gingham gala paper down, so let's remove that. And I am going to come in with Stampin' Dimensionals. I really love giving this frame a real framed look. Now I will tell you, I am going to get a little Stampin' Dimensional happy here. I do want to go around the frame itself. You notice my dimensionals are staying a little closer to the frame. And we're going to get one here because I removed the backings too soon. Oh my goodness, because I haven't put my ribbon on yet. Okay, I just needed more coffee today. So I've got this 6 inches of ribbon. I'm going to put a little knot. I'm just going to tie a knot over here to one side. And I've got what, probably about 1.5 inches over here. That looks good to me. What we are going to do is we're going to add this piece of ribbon here, down here at the bottom. I'm going to give you my little tip. Well, tip number 1 is don't remove the backings. I actually just kind of put the backings back on so I could work with it. I'm going to use glue dots. And I'm going to start by putting a glue dot right here on the knot. This is going to just make it so easy. Now, I'm going to adhere that about right here. Let me take my little tag because I want to make sure it's going to fit. That looks like it's going to fit. So I'm going to adhere that to my tag, just like that. Now let me add one more glue dot here right underneath to the tag. All right, so we kind of sandwiched it there. And that's gonna allow us to put that right where we want it. Now, that's loose, that won't work, right? Let's add not dimensionals, we're gonna add glue dots to our ribbon, just one on each end. And what I can do is line that up. This is where the gingham is so nice. It kind of helps me line it up exactly where I need it. Let me add a glue dot right here on the other side. It's so easy. Just press it on and lift. Now I can line up this side, bring that around. See, isn't that sweet? Okay, now I can take my backings off again. Haha. Yes, that whole putting backings back on, I don't recommend it. I really don't. All right, all my backings are removed. Now we can center up our gingham gala paper right there in our frame. Oh my goodness, adorable, right? We can simply add our flowers. I'm just gonna put a little snail right here and add one flower, a Stampin' Dimensional in the center. We'll add a flower on top. Let's repeat that up here. And with that, our card is done. I want to show you here on my original, I did do a little extra stamping and I just wanted to point it out. This little border here is also in the Stitched All Around stamp set. I added that. That is entirely up to you. Depends on how much you want to write on the inside of your card. But I will say just leaving it with just the sentiment inside is also fabulous. They did turn out fabulous, right? I really liked how these turned out. I hope that you did too. I did want to say this. If you don't have the layering square dies, not a problem. You could actually do this same card with the stitch shape dies as well. You're just going to use the largest and second to largest square, and it's going to do the exact same thing. So know that you have some options there when creating this card. Now, speaking of creating the card, if you need any of the supplies that I used and you need those to create the card, here's what you can do. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the April 18th, 2019 blog post. That's where I'll have all the details about the card. And if you need to order any of the supplies that I used, it's so easy. Click a pic. It'll take you right to my online store and you can order what you need. I would be so tickled to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So be sure to just click the pic. It'll take you right to the store and you can get the supplies that you need. Also, if you need any of the measurements that I used on the card, those will all be there on that same blog post. So be sure to check it out. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. And be sure to click that great big red subscribe button if you'd like to get more notifications from YouTube the next time I'm back with a new video. I share 3 videos a week with you, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. All right, that's all for me. Go create something fabulous today, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.